Today, we're going to look at some FUD. We're going to look at a new central bank digital currency from a fairly major country that seems pretty bullish, and a venture capital fund that is launching directly for crypto. So a lot of good stuff to look at. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let's dive in. So this first article talks about how JP Morgan assessing how much it thinks Bitcoin is worth and that crypto faces a summer headwind, according to JP Morgan. So, stocks are moving higher Thursday, extending gains as markets relax about inflation risks and exact details of what's coming from the U.S. Federal Reserve. Pause. What? Why are the markets relaxing about inflation risks? What has actually changed other than a bunch of media outlets saying relax? Nothing. Crap loads of money being printed. Prices of everything going up. Prices of everything going up. By the way, that's what inflation is. Hence, the buying power of your dollar goes up, but they print in more money. Yeah, well, that's debasement of money, meaning it makes it worth less. And that constant cycle that keeps, not cycle, just activity that keeps happening is overall, it sucks in the long term because we are on fiat, but it's good. It just keeps making the case for Bitcoin and crypto, for Bitcoin really. Because in my opinion, Bitcoin is the financial crypto, and there is no overtaking it or second seat. Just like, well, silver to gold. Well, yeah, but how much silver compared to gold? I mean, does that even really matter? My opinion, whatever. Anyways, they're saying the breezes of summer are far away. Just inflation risks. Exact details of what's coming from the Federal Reserve. Yeah, more printing of money and more inflation. That's what's coming from the Federal Reserve. So the markets, they're saying they lost $1 trillion in market cap over the last month. Yep. According to groups, analysts led by, check out this guy's name, Nikolaos Panagurtsoglu? Panagurtsoglu. Okay. I don't know. That seems like a funny name to me. Him and his team have our call of the day, giving Bitcoin a fair value of $23,000, $35,000 over the medium term. Okay, he actually does a decent job explaining how he has those prices. But I'm going to share something with you in a minute about why I think this guy's still got his head up his butt, or somebody's butt. Newest major challenge Bitcoin faces, according to the team, is that the discount for the net asset value of the biggest Bitcoin fund, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, has widened deep into negative territory. Because the price of Bitcoin has went down. Yeah. The next article that I'm going to show you too after this is just a 180 from another investment position, a big investment position, that they look at it from a different way. This guy, look, here's how I'm going to dive into it. This guy, and this JP Morgan, which is exactly what you would expect. JP Morgan, old money, old financial system, clunky, outdated. They're looking at this. This is all in my opinion. They're looking at this, trying to fit it into this box that they have manipulated and had its way with for decades. Decades and decades. And they don't get yet that Bitcoin is not that. It is not the old stuff. And they keep trying to fit it into the old perceptions and old perspectives and old ways of measuring things. So what I'm saying is they're going to miss out on a lot, or the other side is, or they know what I'm saying to you, and they're just putting all this out as straight FUD to drive the price down, which could also, but I don't think so. I mean, they do that. They put out FUD to drive the price down. They do that, but I don't think this particular thing is that. I think this is them just literally not understanding what Bitcoin is yet because they're so fiat, and they don't see the bigger picture. So this reflects the anticipated selling of shares in the trust, the Grayscale one, as market lockup period for investors. And so what a lockup period is sometimes when you invest in something, there'll be a lockup period where you can't trade anything or sell anything for a certain period of time. And in this case, it was 6 months. And apparently that period expires in June and July. Check this out. These investors are likely to sell at least some of their shares. Wow. That's why he gets paid the big money. Some of the investors are going to sell some of their shares. Give this man a job. Write him a check for millions of dollars. How brilliant is he? Some of the investors are going to sell some of their shares. Give me my check. You're welcome. I'm Nostradamus. What a boner. The mere rise in volatility, especially relative to gold, is an impediment to further institutional adoption. It reduces the attractiveness of digital gold versus traditional gold in institutional portfolios. I agree. Because the institutional portfolios are all looking at things the way you do. Pan Gertzoglu and his team use a Bitcoin gold volatility ratio to gauge the valuation of the crypto asset. I don't hate on him for this, but this is still trying to fit it in this old box. Let's explain how he got to that 23 to 35,000. So they actually think Bitcoin has a theoretical target price of 140,000. Okay, your head's not totally up your ass, but they're saying it's 6 times as volatile as gold right now. So 1/6 of 140,000 would be 23,000. Cool. This is in the medium term, right? So they think maybe by the end of the year it reduces to a 4x volatility compared to gold. So that would put it at 35,000. So that's why they think those are maybe the buy spots. I don't know what they're really saying here. But in reality, if they looked at this from not this second by second thing, and they looked at it in a long-term way, and they actually got the picture here, they would just buy it, because in 5-10 years, when Bitcoin is 500,000, 1 million plus, this is a ridiculously low price. Now, the next one we're going to go into, we're not going to go into it yet. I just want to show you, scroll through the rest of this. Not mouse to say that kind of sums up JP Morgan's perspective. Now, on the other hand, Andreessen Horowitz, which is a VC capital fund, Silicon venture capital firm, they announced they're going to do a $2.2 billion cryptocurrency-focused fund. Now, we believe that the next wave of computing innovation will be driven by crypto. What a different point of view than old fat money JP Morgan perspective and their charts trying to make everything compare to what's already here. When in reality, Bitcoin is unlike anything that's already here. That's the point. Andreessen's first crypto-focused fund was launched 3 years ago during crypto winter. So they've been around for a second in this space. Where'd all my highlights go? Well, apparently I had to restart my computer, and some of my highlights went away, so we'll just go in anyways. They're launching a multi-billion-dollar fund, like I said, $2.2 billion. They think crypto is not only the future of finance, but it has the ability to transform all aspects of our lives. What a different point of view. Again, they launched a fund back in crypto winter, and we believe the next wave of innovation will be driven by crypto. Radically optimistic, quote unquote. They've invested in firms like Facebook, Instagram, Lyft, Pinterest. They actually invested in Coinbase back in 2013. Wow, interesting. They also, they invested in Facebook's Libra, which faced a lot of opposition from global regulators, as thank God it did, because Facebook's trying to... I hate Facebook. I just do. I really don't like Facebook. I don't like the organization. I don't like where they're driving, because they're so influential, obviously, in this world now. And they're censoring, and everything that they're doing. I want Facebook to go away. I want something else to take its place that is better. Anyways, they also have stakes in OpenSea and Dapper Labs, which is NBA Top Shot, part of the NFT boom. They're also in DeFi, decentralized finance, and they just believe. They also took on, I thought this was interesting too, former Justice Department prosecutor Dixon. They brought him in there, and what was the one? Former Securities and Exchange Director Bill Hinman. They will join as an advisory partner, and Rachel Horowitz, who led communications at Twitter, Google, and Facebook. So, what a difference between JP Morgan and this fund here. Eventually, the institutions like JP Morgan will wake up more, because they're waking up more and more. They wouldn't even consider buying anything Bitcoin back in the last bull run, 2017-18. Now they're coming in. Hedge funds are coming in more and more. This, which is also an institutional money type thing, really, but with a little bit more leeway. But this venture capital fund, they got a lot more leeway. They can look a lot more forward. Now, on to the last piece. Israel has already tested a digital shekel. That's pretty, well, I would say awesome. And I'm going to say awesome. I'm going to go with awesome. But I would say overall good, for sure. Israel has already conducted a pilot test of a digital shekel cryptocurrency, according to Bank of Israel Deputy Governor Andrew Abir. He said it had previously estimated the chance of having a CBDC within 5 years is 20%, but his estimate has increased a little bit in the last year, but he'd still say there's less than a 50% chance. Well, you know what? That chart is going up. Now, them having a CBDC, would a central bank digital currency, I think would be very positive. I think CBDCs overall are positive because they're making their own digital money. They're accepting that digital money is a thing, and nobody is going to be able to overtake Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin will literally become the digital gold. That's my thought. The more and more, what I'm getting at is, I don't know how all this exactly plays out, but I do know the more and more that institutions, governments, people, the more people that accept cryptocurrency, digital currency, the better it is for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. And of course, blockchain technology in terms of transforming the aspects of our lives, like the venture capital fund said, just that's why we're bullish, right? That is why we're bullish. So he also said the CBDC issued by the country's central bank would be regulated by the relevant state authorities. Well, of course. You're not making it to give the power to the people, which is also why Bitcoin is going to win, because it really does give power to the people. A number of major world economies have begun exploring the possibility of issuing a CBDC alongside existing means of payment. A number of major world economies, of course they have. Of course they have. Now he also says, I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not going to eliminate banks. No, it may not, but it's going to change the way things are done. And Bitcoin is not a payment system. It is not a currency. That's what he's saying. In the best situation, it is a financial asset. Pause. Look at that. This guy, he doesn't seem like the most enthusiastic cryptocurrency person, right, through reading this. But even he's coming to the realization, I don't know what just happened there. He's coming to the realization that it's a financial asset. And he said, at worst, it's a pyramid scam. So him saying that, I mean, doesn't that just show you exactly where his mind is in terms of understanding this? The fact that he thinks it could be a pyramid scam, which would be, here's what a pyramid or a pyramid scam or Ponzi scheme is, which is the same thing. It's when people invest money, they give someone money. They give a company, an organization, money as an investment. And that organization keeps bringing in new people, and they use the money from the new people to give to the original people to give them returns, and it just keeps compounding like that, so it always comes to an end. And here, this is a real market that people can buy, sell, and trade, a real thing. Granted, it's digital, but we are moving more and more into a digital world. This isn't just recycling money back to each other. I don't know if that makes enough sense yet. This is a real market in the same way buying a stock, buying gold, buying real estate, investing in something where the money does flow in and flow out. In a pyramid scam, a Ponzi scheme, literally, like, I'm going to invest $1 million with somebody, and he says, all right, we guarantee a 10% return. And then I say, hey, this place recommended 10% return. So now 3 other people come in and invest $1 million. And what the Ponzi scheme does is just funnel me back some of the money for my return from the other people that brought it in. And that you see how that can't end, because there's going to be a whole bunch of people holding the bag. This is an economy. This is an asset class. This is a market. Very different. The price goes up and down to adjust with the amount of money in and the amount of money out. Ponzi schemes don't do that. Pyramid scams don't do that. So this guy doesn't get it yet, but nonetheless, I think CBDCs overall can be, will they work? Will they play out? Will this and that? Are they a threat to Bitcoin? Not a threat to Bitcoin. But will they work? This, blah, blah. I don't know, and I don't really care because it's just them adopting the idea of cryptocurrency. Digital payment. That's the big thing here. But that's what I got for you. Well, actually, no, let's dive into the charts real quick because Bitcoin's had quite a nice up day. It's starting to look pretty interesting. I was able to get some Bitcoin last night with a 2 behind the 3, which was great. So 32, like, I think I paid $32,750 to get was the Bitcoin price. And now today, it's gone all the way up to 35,000. Now it seems to have come back down here to 34, but I shouldn't say down. I mean, this really makes it look bigger than it is. But this is over the course of the day. Now, this is really the course of the day. So here's the bottom, around here at 32 something. And it looks like it hit a top of about over 35, and now it's kind of riding steady here around close to 35, maybe 34.8, 34.7, 34.750. Testing that 35. So what will happen here, I don't know, because you see here was 34.5, and then it dipped to 33.9, and it shot back up. I don't have candles up, but, there could be a pretty good sign here that maybe institutions did a little bit of a dump to drop the price, manipulate the market, literally, and then buy up a bunch. But down here, thankfully, I was able to buy some down here last night, which is, yes, less than a day ago because it was last night. I wish I would have bought more. But I do typically dollar cost average, which is where you basically buy a little bit of Bitcoin frequently. Instead of me just blowing my whole load at 32,000, which I think is a good price. But the reality is I don't know where Bitcoin's going to go. So I just kind of buy Bitcoin about every day, almost every day. But I just feel like down here I've been buying every day because if there's a 3 in front, I just feel really good about it. And the lower the number after the 3, like 32, I feel real good about. I have other buy orders in, limit buy orders in, for them to automatically execute if it hits a price. Like I have some in the 20s, just in case, like if it goes down. Like that's what dollar cost average really is where you just buy regularly at smaller increments. It really helps manage your risk, but still gets you in the game and you accumulate slowly over time without ever investing too much at any one time. And there are pros and cons to it, but I don't want to necessarily go. If your method is to go all in all the time, then you can't help but you're going to get burned. You may win. You're going to win some, but you're going to lose some, and they're really going to hurt. And for me, buying Bitcoin, I never sell it because this is, my opinion, the future of all global finance. This is like thousands of years ago. If I came up to you and I said, "Hey, see this metal gold here that we all like? This is actually going to become money. This is how we're going to trade for everything. This is going to become the store of wealth." They probably would have looked at me silly. And back then, probably might have called me a witch and hung me because they're just nuts. Not that we're any smarter now. We're also very stupid as humans. I mean, we're not as smart as we think we are. We think Salem witch trials and burning people at the stake, like we think we're so much smarter than those people. Granted, we don't do those things. Well, some places in the country do, in the world, excuse me. But the point is we're just so subject to influence that we just lose all logic. That's the thing, as humans, we just lose our logic. But here it just seems extremely logical that Bitcoin becomes the dominant force in global finance at an exponential rate because that's the way the world has been moving every single year since we got the internet. Really every single year since the Industrial Revolution. Because we went from horse and buggy to landing on the moon in like 60 years. Think about that. We went from horse and buggy to landing on the moon within like 60 years, maybe 70 years. And things have just gotten faster and faster every year over year since then. We got the internet, then things like hit a new level. And now we're getting crypto, and so the changing of the guard here can happen much sooner. I expect in my lifetime, I'm 38, I expect in my lifetime Bitcoin to be a dominant financial asset and store of value and money before I'm dead. Like way, way, way established. I expect Bitcoin within the next 5 to 10 years to hit $1 million. I don't see any reason why not. It just stays on course with the way it's been growing every year. I mean, year over year, if you put it together. Some years are better than others, but some years are just literally, it's the fastest growing asset in history. All right, that's what I got for you today. Hit that sub button, hit that like button, and check out the links in the description. Help support the channel. There's some good stuff in there too. You get $25 free Bitcoin, get interest on your crypto, all that stuff. All right, you're awesome.